April 26, 1945. Headquarters 2nd Cavalry Group. Southeastern Germany near Czechoslovakian border. German officer walks across lines carrying white flag. Luftwaffe Lieutenant Colonel Walter Holters. Intelligence officer. Not surrendering normally. Demanding to speak commanding officer. Unusual request. Suspicious request. Captain Ferdinand Spurl interrogates. Searches prisoner. No identification. No documents. Nothing. Except 2 photographs. Horses. White horses. Beautiful horses. Spurl confused. Holters explains. These are Lipizzaner horses. Royal Austrian horses. 400 years old bloodline. Currently held hostile. Czechoslovakia. 18 miles inside Czech territory. Red Army advancing. Will slaughter horses. For food. For spite. For everything. Need American help. Need rescue. Need now. Colonel Charles Hancock Reed listens. Age 38. Career cavalry officer. Transitioned mechanized forces but understands horses. Understands value. Understands culture. Holters describes situation. Over 1,200 horses stabled hostile. 375 Lipizzaners. 100 Arabians. 200 thoroughbreds. 600 Russian horses. All valuable. All endangered. Plus 400 Allied prisoners of war. Plus local refugees. Plus German veterinary staff desperate to cooperate. All waiting. All hoping. All needing rescue before Soviets arrive. Reed understands implications. Hostile is Czech territory. Yalta Conference assigned Czechoslovakia Soviet sphere of influence. Americans not supposed to be there. Politically sensitive. Diplomatically complicated. Strategically risky. But 1,200 horses. 400-year bloodline. European cultural treasure. And Reed is cavalryman. Former horse cavalry. Loves horses. Understands their value beyond military. Beyond practical. Beyond rational. These horses matter. Culture matters. Beauty matters. Especially now. Especially after 5 years destroying everything. Time to save something. Time to do something beautiful. Reed requests permission. General George Patton. Message simple. Request permission rescue Lipizzaner horses hostile. Patton responds immediately. Get them. Make it fast. 3 words. Sufficient. Mission approved. Planning begins. Execution pending. Everything compressed. Time matters. Red Army matters. Every hour counts. To understand mission requires understanding horses. Lipizzaner breed originated 1572. Archduke Charles. To Austria founded Spanish riding school Vienna. Classical dressage tradition. Haute école. High school movements. Airs above ground. Livadi. Courbette. Capriole. Movements look like ballet. Actually combat maneuvers. Cavalry techniques. Ancient Greek general Xenophon developed around 400 BC. Levade. Horse crouches hind legs before standing. Gives rider sword greater thrust. Capriole. Horse leaps air. Kicks out hind legs. Extricate horse and rider from combat. Beautiful movements. Deadly purposes. Perfect combination. The breed itself? Cross between Spanish Andalusian and Arabian bloodstock. Named for Lipizza stud farm established 1580 by Archduke Charles. Located modern Slovenia then. 8 foundation stallions. All modern Lipizzaners trace lineage to these 8. Maestoso. Conversano. Neapolitano. Favri. Pluto. Siglavi. Tulipan. Incitato. Every Lipizzaner descendant. 400-year unbroken lineage. Rarest breed Europe. Most carefully bred. Most meticulously preserved. Until 1938. Until Anschluss. Until Nazis. German annexation. Austria, 1938 changed everything. Spanish riding school came under Reich Ministry Food and Agriculture. Became cultural propaganda. Performances continued. Training continued. But ownership changed. Control changed. Purpose changed. Nazis saw breeding opportunity. Aryan horse. Perfect German war horse! Master race deserves master horse. Logical extension. Insane extension. True extension. Gustav Rau appointed Horsemaster Third Reich. Charged with breeding program. Charged with selecting finest specimens. Charged with creating perfect German cavalry mount. Rau selected hostile. Former cavalry remount depot. Czech territory annexed 1939. Sudetenland. German speaking. Strategic location. Remote location. Safe location. Initially, built extensive facilities. Stables. Paddocks. Breeding sheds. Veterinary buildings. Everything needed for comprehensive breeding program. Transferred Spanish riding school breeding mares from Vienna. 375 Lipizzeners. Added finest Polish Arabians. Captured Poland 1939. Added Russian horses. Captured Soviet Union 1941 onward. Added thoroughbreds. Various sources. Total. Over 1,200 horses. Hostau became largest, most valuable collection purebred horses Europe. All under German control. All serving Reich purposes. All endangered by 1945. The danger was Soviet. Red Army advancing westward. Overwhelming force. Unlimited manpower. Limited supplies, especially food. Soviet cavalry used horses extensively. But practical horses, working horses, expendable horses, not show horses, not breeding stock, not cultural treasures. To Soviet Army, 1,200 purebred horses meant 1,200 meals, or 1,200 work animals used until death. No sentiment, no preservation, no culture, just utility, just survival, just war. German veterinarians understood. Lieutenant Colonel Hubert Rudowski commanded Wehrmacht Veterinary Team Hostau. Professional officer, dedicated horseman, understood horses, loved horses, watched Soviet advance with terror. New Soviet record. Hungary 1944. Red Army captured Royal Hungarian Lipizzaner stud. Entire collection slaughtered. Meat. Work animals. Gone. Extinct? Rudowski refused to allow repeat. Refused to let hostile horses die. But how prevent German forces collapsing? Soviet forces overwhelming. No military solution. No German solution. Only American solution. If Americans would help. If Americans could help. If Americans cared. Holters arrived. Hostile fuel shortage. Luftwaffe intelligence unit running dry. Stranded. Waiting. Hoping to surrender Americans rather than Soviets. Better treatment. Better survival. Better everything. Holters heard situation. Understood implications. Made decision. Contact Americans. Arrange surrender. Save horses. Save himself. Save everything possible. April 26 drove American lines. White flags. Photographs. Desperation. Hope. Reed sent Captain Thomas Stewart negotiate. Stewart, age 29. Intelligence officer, 42nd Squadron, 2nd Cavalry. Chosen for multiple reasons. Equestrian experience. Civilian life included horses. Riding. Training. Understanding. Limited German language capability. Enough to communicate. Enough to negotiate. Enough to convince. Also courage. Also initiative. Also willingness to risk. Stewart, perfect choice. Proved perfect choice. Repeatedly. April 27, Stewart and German Captain Rudolf Lessing cross lines. Lessing, German veterinarian. Convinced cooperate. Convinced saving horses transcends politics. Transcends war. Transcends everything. Two captains. Enemy officers. United purpose. Drive hostile together. 18 miles enemy territory. German checkpoints. German troops. German generals. All potentially hostile. All potentially deadly. Both men risk everything. For horses. For culture. For humanity. Arrival hostile reveals situation. General Major Weissenberger commands local German forces. Not convinced. Not cooperative. War not over. Reich still fighting. Surrender is treason. Cooperation is treason. Execution awaits traitors. Weissenberger refuses. Argues. Resists. Lessing argues back. War ending. Reich collapsing. Preservation matters more than politics. Horses matter more than Hitler. Culture matters more than combat. Hours negotiation. Hours argument. Hours convincing. Finally, Weissenberger yields. Rights authorization. General Schulze commanding hostile garrison will cooperate. Americans can enter. Americans can evacuate horses. Temporarily. Under truce. Honorable surrender. Requires tanks. Dignity demands proper force. Stewart promises tanks. Promises return. Promises rescue. Returns American lines. Report success. Prepares task force. April 28. Task Force Andrews deploys. Named Major Robert Andrews commanding. 42nd Cavalry Reconnaissance Squadron. Mechanized cavalry. Not horse cavalry. Trucks. Armored cars. Light tanks. Modern warfare. 2 M8 scout cars. M8 howitzer motor carriages. 2 M24 Chaffee light tanks. Infantry screening force 325 men. Small force. Inadequate force against major resistance. Sufficient force against cooperation. Everything depends cooperation. Everything depends Germans keeping word. Everything depends luck. The twin-corps artillery barrage prepares way. Softens German defenses, border positions, minefields, obstacles. Allows task force to penetrate, to breach lines, to reach Hostau, 18 miles inside Czech territory, 18 miles beyond Yalta boundaries, 18 miles into Soviet sphere. Politically dangerous, diplomatically questionable, militarily necessary. Task force proceeds. Germans cooperate. Promise kept. Americans arrive. Germans surrender. Swastika lowered. American flag raised. Hostau secured. Horses safe. Temporarily. The challenge becomes logistics. 325 Americans. 1,200 horses. Many pregnant. Many with newborn foals. Many uncooperative. Many terrified. Cannot all be ridden. Cannot all walk. Cannot all load vehicles. Insufficient transportation. Insuffisant personnel. Insufficient everything. Solution. Improvisation. American solution. Practical solution. Desperate solution. Andrews makes decisions. Armed German soldiers. Wehrmacht. Luftwaffe. Not SS. Regular army. Professional soldiers. Love horses. Want horses saved. Will cooperate under American command. Pledge loyalty. Temporary loyalty. Sufficient loyalty. Germans armed. Given rifles. Given responsibility. Trusted. Remarkably trusted. Necessarily trusted. Plus liberated prisoners of war. Hundreds Allied POWs freed from local camps. British, New Zealanders, French, Poles, Serbs. All volunteer. All help. All understand importance. Plus Russian anti-communist Cossacks. Prince Amasov leads small cavalry force. Deserted German 1st Cossack Cavalry Division. Present in area. Offer help. Offer cavalry expertise. Offer everything. Americans accept. Coalition forms. American soldiers. German soldiers. Allied prisoners. Russian deserters. All united. All cooperating. All fighting for horses. For culture. For something beyond war. Stuart calls them Foreign Legion. Accurate name. Impossible coalition. Necessary coalition. Effective coalition. But SS does not cooperate. Waffen-SS. Fanatics. The hearts. Refuse surrender. Refuse cooperation. Refuse reality. Attack twice. First attack. Infantry assault. Task force repels. Combined arms. American weapons. German knowledge. Coordination. Casualties both sides. SS suffers more. Retreats. Second attack. Similar result. More casualties. More SS dead. Fewer SS willing. Eventually withdraw. Eventually give up. Eventually irrelevant. But dangerous. Always dangerous. Every moment dangerous. Meanwhile, evacuation proceeds. Pregnant mares loaded trucks. Improvised transport. Whatever available. Newborn foals likewise. Careful handling. Gentle loading. Precious cargo. Remaining horses mounted. American cavalrymen. German cavalrymen. Cossack cavalrymen. Allied prisoners who can ride. Everyone rides. Those cannot be mounted herded. Western style. Cowboy style. Operation Cowboy. Name fits. Technique works. 1,200 horses moving. Column forming. Massive column. Impossible column. Beautiful column. Stuart assumes command. Andrews transfers authority to deputy. Stuart now responsible. 29 years old. Captain. Commanding combined force. Americans. Germans. Cossacks. Prisoners. All following his orders. All trusting his judgment. All depending his leadership. Extraordinary responsibility. Extraordinary trust. Extraordinary situation. Stuart performs extraordinarily. The withdrawal begins. Column moves west. Toward American lines. Toward safety. Toward salvation. Slow progress. Horses reluctant. Pregnant mares especially. Terrain difficult. Roads damaged. Everything complicated. Everything dangerous. SS might attack. Soviet forces might arrive. German units might resist. Every mile risky. Every hour critical. Every moment uncertain. Then Soviet tanks appear. Eastern Edge Hosto. T-34 medium tanks. Red Army Vanguard. Arriving exactly as feared. Exactly as predicted. Too late to stop evacuation. Too early to ignore. Tense standoff. Soviet tankers watch. American soldiers watch. Germans watch. Cossacks watch. Horses between them. 1,200 lives. 400-year bloodline. European heritage. Everything hanging. Everything waiting. Everything depending Soviet decision. Soviet commanders choose not engage. Possibly surprised. Possibly confused. Possibly indifferent. Americans behind Yalta boundaries. Americans technically illegal position. But armed, but prepared, but determined. Engagement would create incident. International incident. Diplomatic crisis. Political problem. Soviets avoid. Watch instead. Let Americans go. Let horses go. Let everything go. Pragmatism. Calculation. Wisdom. Coalition survives. Horses survive. Mission succeeds. American lines reached. Safety achieved. 1,200 horses secured. Behind American positions. Behind protection. Behind salvation. Mission accomplished. 0 casualties horses. Minimal casualties humans. Some wounded. Some killed. SS attacks. Border fighting. Expected losses. Acceptable losses. Necessary losses. But horses safe. All horses safe. All 1,200 safe. All 400-year bloodline preserved. Success. Complete success. Impossible success. Real success. Stuart receives Bronze Star. Austria awards National Gold Award. Patton personally gives Stuart German drilling shotgun. 3-barreled hunting weapon. Rare. Valuable. Symbolic. Patton understands. Patton competed against Alois Podhajski. Olympic equestrian events. 1936 Berlin Olympics. Knows horses. Knows Lipizaners. Knows importance. Personally congratulates Stuart. Personally thanks everyone. Personally ensures horses protected. Transferred American custody. Eventually returned Austria. Eventually restored Spanish riding school. Eventually continuing tradition. 400-year tradition. Unbroken tradition. Preserved tradition. The cultural impact exceeds military. 1,200 horses saved. But symbol saved. Hope saved. Beauty saved. Amid death. Amid destruction. Amid 5 years total war. Americans and Germans cooperated. Enemies united. Politics suspended. Humanity prevailed. For horses. For culture. For something beyond killing. Something worth saving. Something worth risking. Reed explains perfectly. We were so tired of death and destruction. We wanted to do something beautiful. That is reason. That is purpose. That is justification. Everything else secondary. The historical significance. One of 2 documented occasions Americans and Germans fought together against common enemy World War II. Other was Castle Itter. Days later, Austria. Similar circumstances. Similar cooperation. Similar impossibility. Similar success. Both prove something. Enemies can cooperate. Common interests exist. Humanity transcends politics. Under right circumstances. Under desperate circumstances. Under necessary circumstances. Cooperation possible. Even between enemies. Even during war. Even impossibly, the horses themselves. 375 Lipizaners survived. Returned Austria. Returned Spanish riding school. Resumed performances. Resumed training. Resumed tradition. Bloodline preserved. Lineage continued. Culture maintained. Today, Spanish riding school operates Vienna. Performances daily. Training continuous. Tradition unbroken. 450 years. Through wars. Through revolutions. Through everything. Unbroken. Because 2nd Cavalry. Because Stuart. Because Americans and Germans cooperated. Because someone decided horses mattered. Culture mattered. Beauty mattered. More than politics. More than war. More than everything. The lessons persist. War destroys. Always destroys. But humanity creates, can create. Even during war, especially during war. When everything dark, when everything terrible. Small lights matter. Small victories matter. Small beauties matter. 1,200 horses. Small number. Enormous symbol. Proof that preservation possible. Proof that cooperation possible. Proof that humanity possible. Even war's darkest days. Even enemy territory. Even impossible circumstances. Modern commemoration continues. Hostoň Czech Republic hosts annual Hostoň Horse Festival. Established 1990s. Celebrates Operation Cowboy. Reenactments. Displays. Education. Memory preserved. Sacrifice honored. Achievement recognized. Czech civilians remember. Remember American liberation. Remember German cooperation. Remember horses saved. Remember beauty preserved. Communist government suppressed memory decades. 1948 through 1989. Forbidden to celebrate American liberation. Forbidden to remember Western aid. Forbidden to acknowledge truth. Families remembered privately. Taught children. Maintained knowledge. Waited. Velvet Revolution 1989 ended suppression. Liberation Festival 1990 began public celebration. Hundreds of thousands attended, openly honored Americans, openly remembered Operation Cowboy, openly celebrated preservation, memory restored, truth acknowledged, heritage honored. Buffalo Bill Center West, Cody, Wyoming, permanent display, Operation Cowboy artifacts, Stewart's drilling shotgun, photographs, documents, context, American cavalry history, cultural preservation, military cooperation, all documented, all exhibited, all teaching. Visitors learn, students study, memory continues. Second-hand, third-hand, distant, but important, must continue, must preserve, must honor. Always, the Disney film, Miracle of the White Stallions, 1963. Loosely based Operation Cowboy, dramatized, simplified, Hollywood version, but preserved story, reached audiences, millions viewers, worldwide distribution, cultural impact, memory impact, educational impact, imperfect history, but effective storytelling, introduced Operation Cowboy to generations, created awareness, created interest, created foundation for deeper understanding, valuable contribution, imperfect contribution, important contribution, recent scholarship improves, Mark Felton, Ghostwriters, 2018, comprehensive history, primary sources, veteran interviews, accurate account, detailed analysis, scholarly rigor, Elizabeth Letts, The Perfect Horse, 2016, also comprehensive, also accurate, also valuable. Both books restore understanding, correct errors, provide context, honor participants, preserve truth, essential works, essential reading, essential teaching. The participants themselves mostly gone. Stewart died 2004. Reed earlier, Andrews earlier, German participants earlier still, Cossacks unknown fate, Allied prisoners scattered, most deceased, living memory ending, direct testimony ending, personal experience ending. Now only secondary sources, only documents, only scholars, only remembering, but important remembering, essential remembering, permanent remembering. The horses continue. Lipizzaner breed thrives. Spanish riding school continues. Performances worldwide. Breeding programs multiple countries. United States, Australia, South Africa, everywhere. Breed preserved. Bloodline expanded. Culture spread. All because Operation Cowboy. All because someone decided horses mattered. Culture mattered. Beauty mattered. Someone risked. Someone acted. Someone succeeded. Horses survived. Breed survived. Tradition survived. Everything survived. Because courage, because cooperation, because humanity. April 28, 1945. 18 miles inside Czechoslovakia, Americans and Germans stood together. Against SS, against politics, against everything. For horses, for culture, for beauty. Impossible coalition, impossible mission, impossible success. All real, all documented, all remembered. Should be remembered, must be remembered, forever remembered. Because proves something. War is terrible, humanity possible. Even during war, especially during war, when needed most, when seems impossible, when matters most, small light, dark time, enormous impact, permanent impact, eternal impact. That is Operation Cowboy. That is April 28, 1945. That is moment enemies became allies. Politics became irrelevant. Humanity prevailed. For horses, for culture, for beauty, for everything worth preserving, everything worth fighting for, everything worth remembering, always.